Hi, my name is Karen Kennedy. I'm the President and CEO of Boost Child and Youth Advocacy Centre in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Boost is Toronto's only and largest child and youth advocacy centre. We see about 3,000 children a year through our programs and services. We couldn't do the work that we do without social workers. They make up the majority of our staff and deliver essential programs and services to children, youth, and their families who are either at risk of abuse or where abuse or violence has occurred. Beginning with our prevention programs, our staff go out into the community. They work with teachers and parents to teach them how to help keep kids safe. They also go into the schools and they work hand in hand with the classroom teacher over a period of weeks to teach children skills that will reduce their vulnerability. We use stories, film, and activities to teach kids how to be safe and how and where to get help when they do need it. We teach them that if you tell someone that something is happening to you and they don't act, that you need to keep telling until they do listen. Often we find that the teachers, while able to teach children information, don't have the comfort to teach them about abuse. That's where our social work staff come in. They are able to share that information. They're able to work with the teachers to help build their confidence so they're able to talk with kids about some of these difficult issues. Without social workers able to deliver prevention programs in the schools, children would remain at much greater risk. We also work with adults who work with children in childcare centers, summer camps, helping them to understand what abuse is, how you recognize it, and importantly, what your responsibility is when you do suspect that a child is at risk. We find that many professionals are uncomfortable because they're not sure if they're right. They worry about what the repercussions might be if they're wrong. The message that our social work staff give these individuals is, it's not your job to have proof. You can call and consult, but if you are right and that child is at risk and you don't make that call, then that can lead to a tragic situation. And we don't want that happening to children. We want adults to do what they need to do to be able to act and protect kids. At our center, we deliver a number of programs and services beginning with investigations. We have police and child protection workers located in the center, as well as a team of advocates, nurse practitioners, and social workers that can provide both crisis intervention and ongoing assessment and therapy. When a child comes to the center, it's because either they have disclosed to someone, often somebody in their school or somebody in their life, that they are being harmed in some way. And they are referred to us for a child abuse investigation. When a call comes in that there is a case and a child is at risk, an advocate is assigned to provide support to that child and their family. A police officer and a child protection worker, who is a social worker, are also assigned to make up the team. The first thing that the team does is to sit together and quickly plan what the first steps are going to be. This may involve meeting with the child at the center, or in fact, it may involve going out to the school and seeing the child there first and then bringing them back to the center. In every case, we look at what's in the child's best interest. How can we work together to ensure that this child is safe and supported? When a child does come to the center, often they're coming with a supportive parent. The first thing that happens is they meet an advocate. The advocate's job is to provide support to the child and their family for as long as they need it, regardless of the outcome of the investigation. But prior to an investigation, their role is to get the child and the family settled in the center, introduce them to the investigative team, show them where they're going to be meeting, and while the child is being interviewed, the advocate would stay and sit with the supportive caregiver. While the caregiver is being interviewed, the advocate is sitting with the child. The whole time their role is to provide support, perhaps provide a little bit of information, but not talk to that child or family about the specific disclosure that they may have made. Following the investigation, the team quickly meets to determine what the next steps are. If there is going to be an arrest, the police officer would leave the center and that arrest would be made at a police division in the community outside of the Child and Youth Advocacy Center. In some cases, the child may need to be apprehended because it's not safe for them to go home. That's the role of the child protection worker, the social worker who works with the child protection agency, who will determine where the child can go, find a safe place for that child. The whole time the advocate is sitting with the child and providing the support that they need to them. Once the investigation is complete, there may be a need for a medical examination. We have a nurse practitioner on site at the center or who is available on an on-call basis when needed. Our center is open from 7 in the morning until 10 in the evening. We have teams of police officers who work to cover those shifts, as well as advocates, children's aid workers, social workers who are available during the day and then on an on-call basis. The center provides services 24/7 to child abuse reports in the community. The nurse practitioner then becomes part of the team and would determine if she can see the child at the center where she has the ability to conduct sexual abuse examinations, or if she needs to take the child to the hospital which is located nearby for x-rays or blood work or other medical tests. As the process continues, the team begins to grow. The child may need immediate mental health services. We have social work therapists on site who can provide that kind of support to the child and or the family. In many cases, it's the caregiver who is in crisis and needs immediate support. We often find in the case of teens, there has been a history of self-harming behavior or even suicidal behavior. Our social work staff are able to assess if the child needs to be seen at a hospital, if she or he needs a psychiatric consultation, and then those things would be put into action. Where the crisis is not immediate, but there's a need for ongoing support or at least immediate support, then the advocate would continue to be available to the child and the family, following up with them the next day, making referrals to the mental health team, having appointments set up so the child and their family can come back in and see a therapist. We have 5 therapists that work together on our team representing 4 different agencies. They work different days, but at any given time, there's always one therapist who is available to see children and families when they're in some sort of crisis. Once that process has begun, the team continues to work together to plan what the next steps are, and that may include at some point referring the child for court preparation. Where charges are laid, children have to testify both in a preliminary hearing and usually in a trial. That means preparing the child to understand what to expect as they go through the criminal justice system, explaining to them who will be there, what the roles of the people in court are, and helping them to understand their role in giving evidence in court. So at that point, the team grows again to include the child protection or the court preparation worker who is also likely a social worker. That person will liaise with the Crown Attorney's office and the victim witness office that is on site in our courthouse to ensure that any testimonial aids that are available to that child are provided. That may mean testifying using closed-circuit television, having a support person in court, or whatever other needs the child has. Often the day of court, either the advocate who has been providing support throughout or the child court preparation worker would attend court with them. During this whole process, everything is coordinated, everybody is working together, and most of the services that have been provided are provided under one roof, preventing the child and their family from having to go to a number of different locations, including police stations, to receive the services that they need. Once the intervention that's offered through the social worker at the Child and Youth Advocacy Center program has gone on for a little while, there may be a need for ongoing therapy. There may be a need for a trauma assessment and for ongoing treatment. In that case, the child Hopefully we'll continue to see the same person, or they will be referred to somebody else who can conduct that specialized trauma assessment, really looking to understand how the child's been impacted by the type of abuse or assault that they've experienced, and identifying what kind of treatment is the most appropriate to be able to meet the needs that the child has. This may involve individual therapy, it may involve family therapy, it may involve group therapy. At the Child and Youth Advocacy Center, we're able to offer expressive arts therapy. We also include yoga and other creative expression in the work that we do. As always, the work is focused on what's in the best need of the child and using a multidisciplinary team approach to meet the needs that that child and their family has. One of the areas that we've seen a real increase in the last number of years is referrals to our Internet Child Exploitation Program. In Ontario, we have a provincial strategy that includes more than 80 individuals across the province working in law enforcement, victim support, and prosecution. Every time an internet exploitation case is investigated and a child is identified, that child is referred to us for support and treatment. Because of the size of our province, not all children can come to one center to receive those services. So we've created a roster across the province of social workers and psychologists who have the expertise to provide that type of therapy to children in their own community where they've experienced internet child exploitation. Sadly, this is an area where we've seen referrals increase significantly in the last number of years, and it's been difficult to keep up with the demand for services. And in doing so, we're also constantly looking for ways to provide training to the therapists across the province that are doing this work. We've also seen an increase recently in the number of young victims of human sex trafficking that are referred to our program for support. Through the Child and Youth Advocacy Center, these young girls, often as young as 12 or 13, are brought by police from our human enforcement trafficking team so the investigation can be conducted in a child-friendly location. And just like any other victim of child sexual abuse or physical abuse or neglect, they have the services available to them that are offered through the Advocacy Center. An advocate who can provide ongoing one-on-one support. And in particular, these girls really need that kind of ongoing support. They have difficulty trusting, and having the same person available to them on an ongoing basis makes a huge difference in that ability to build that kind of trusting relationship. Right now, our Advocacy Center is continuing to grow. We're serving half of the city of Toronto, and our plan is in the next 3 years to double in size. We expect that there are twice as many children living in our city who need our services and require the kind of investigative intervention, support, and medical services that we provide right now. I can't stress enough the importance of social workers doing this kind of work. We have very close partnerships with our universities where we're able to offer placements to social work students so they can gain on-the-ground experience working with other professionals to learn from them how they work with children and families. Social workers in Canada have been instrumental in moving forward the need for services to children, youth, and their families when abuse has occurred. And I'm really, really pleased to have this opportunity today to talk about the value of social work in our center and the work that we do, and I'm sure in all of your communities as well. Thank you.